There's this YouTuber that I watch from time to time called Harriyanna, and she mostly does TV show and movie reviews. Now, as someone who is shifting into that field of content myself, I watch a lot of review videos from all sorts of YouTubers. But the reason Harriyanna's content stuck out to me is because it covers a slightly different type of content. While everyone else is making their 57th video on why The Last Jedi is bad, Harriyanna is discussing character representation in shows and movies. Most notably, kids shows and movies that we all grew up watching like iCarly and Shake It Up. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you'd probably be able to guess that I watch Disney Channel and Nickelodeon, given that I reference Good Luck Charlie more than I upload content. So, of course, when I saw Harriyanna's video about the racism within Dan Schneider shows, I was more than intrigued. Now, Harriyanna is a content creator that I do enjoy watching, and I don't mean any hate in this video, but her most recent upload got a little under my skin. If you've been alive at any point between January 15th and now, you've probably heard of WandaVision, a Disney Plus show that continues the story of the greater Marvel Cinematic Universe. It follows Wanda and Vision, of course, but also other characters like Monica Rambeau and their neighbor Agnes. For the purposes of this video, we will mainly be focusing on Wanda and Monica and the dynamic of their relationship. In my community post, when I mentioned that my next video is going to have something to do with Wanda and Vision, I didn't intend for it to be this, nor did I expect it to be this, but here we go. Harriyanna uploaded a video titled The Misogynoir of WandaVision. In case you're unaware, misogynoir means discrimination against specifically black women. This video is about Monica and her relationship with one Wanda Maximoff, specifically how Wanda mistreats Monica. When I saw this video, I knew I had to make a video on it. WandaVision easily became one of my favorite shows, if not my favorite, which would dethrone Good Luck Charlie. This show really came out at a great time. The world was on fire for like the third time, and I don't know about you, but watching shows like WandaVision is how I unwind from the chaos of the real world. Much like Wanda herself. This show means something to me, so when someone makes a video claiming that it's racist and misogynistic at the same time, I get a little curious. So let's get into this video to see how a show about a dead robot and an emotionally crippled witch is misogynoir.
Anyone that knows me knows that I don't care too much for Marvel whatsoever. I don't care about Marvel. I don't care about the MCU. The only three things I like from Marvel, I can literally count on one hand, is one, Spider-Man, some of it, not all of it. Two, Cloak and Dagger. And three, Big Hero 6. I have been wanting to get into X-Men though. I'm not too particular though. But basically the MCU just kind of threw me away from the entire Marvel thing because I just don't like it. It just don't do nothing for me. When I found out WandaVision was a Marvel show, I didn't care. I didn't have no interest in watching it. I was like, why are y'all trying to make me watch Marvel stuff? I don't care. Because everybody was just talking about how good it was. So I gave it a watch and y'all, I'm obsessed. I'm like literally obsessed. The memes are like the funniest memes I've seen for something in so long. And part of the reason why I watched this show in the first place is because I wanted to understand the memes. I don't like feeling left out of things, okay? I do not like feeling left out.
So, she is admitting that she doesn't care for the MCU, and the only Marvel media she consumes is barely in the MCU. We're already in a tough spot. In this video, Harriyanna makes some pretty bold claims about racism, the majority of which are against Wanda, someone who was introduced in the MCU back in 2015, in Age of Ultron. Despite only being in 4 movies, Wanda has one of the most complex stories, which makes it hard to make these bold claims against her when you haven't seen any of that story. At this point, you're setting yourself up to miss some details. The image you're going to have of Wanda won't be the one that's been building since Age of Ultron. Harriyanna also says that she only got into the show to understand the memes that came from it. So if I have this correct, someone who doesn't care for the MCU and only got into WandaVision, not for the plot, but to understand memes, wants to make bold claims that the show deals with misogynoir and that the main character is somehow racist. I feel like racist isn't the right word, so I'll just use discriminatory.
Marvel has a great white audience, so I'm always checking to see if there's good representation for black women and black people in general in these spaces. So the way diversity is used in this show really does bother me, and it's not really just when Monica, is also with another character too that I will speak about, Jimmy. And what frustrates me about Jimmy is that Jimmy is an Asian man, and I'm glad we did have that Asian representation here in this show. But halfway through the season, you can just tell they didn't know what to do with his character anymore, and it was really, really weak. I think his character development and character dynamic was one of the weaker points of this show.
I didn't get this impression. I thought that Jimmy was very helpful, even at the end of WandaVision. He was there to help figure out what was going on with the Hex and assisted Monica in getting back into Westview. Pretty sure he was also the one who got Hayward arrested at the end of episode 9, too. I don't think WandaVision has a problem with its diversity. All characters are enjoyable and relevant to the plot.
Like I said, it's the typical black woman in pain trope we're always seeing, and I am so freaking tired of it because when we actually meet her real character, we meet her in distress. She's panicking, she's screaming, she's crying, she's a hot mess, okay?
Can't really speak for that problem outside of WandaVision, but as far as the show goes, the character being in distress when we are introduced to her has nothing to do with race. At the end of Infinity War, Thanos snaps and wipes out half the universe's population, which remains gone until 5 years later when the Avengers band together and bring them back. In episode 4, it's revealed that Monica was snapped away while in the hospital where she was presumably sitting next to her mother, Maria. The opening to episode 4 is done really well and gives us a perfect explanation as to why Monica is in distress and why she wants to help Wanda. After coming back, she learns that her mother has died of cancer. The last news Monica had of this situation was that the cancer went away. She just learned that her mother, the only person that she's lived with since she was a kid in Captain Marvel, died, and she wasn't even able to say goodbye. I would say that that's a perfectly rational reason for someone to be in distress. I don't think this is race-related whatsoever. Monica's character was set up this way so that she could understand what Wanda was going through.
And that's not even the most of, like, what frustrated me the most about WandaVision with, like, Monica's character is that I really don't like the way Wanda was talking and treating Monica. Like, I was like, I like Wanda. I'm trying to root for you. I understand you're sad. But when it came to the black girl, I was like, no, black girls come first to me. I'm sorry, Wanda. You're not gonna sit here and talk to this girl like she crazy. You're not gonna sit here and talk to this woman who is the same age as you like she don't know nothing. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it.
You explain to me how that's not racism. Personally, I don't value any character in the show above others due to the color of their skin. I like to judge them based on the contents of their characters, but I don't know, maybe that's just me. Also, Wanda was at no point in the show condescending to Monica. Wanda never pretended like Monica didn't understand anything. In fact, she seemed willing to listen when Monica gave the speech about how they're similar. Wanda was more friendly to Monica up until Pietro was mentioned. She introduced herself first, she included Monica when they won the Westview talent show, and showed concern for her job. Wanda only showed aggression when Monica mentioned the death of Pietro, who was the only person she had up until the events of Age of Ultron. Someone who barely knows Wanda and should not have knowledge of this event mentioned the death of someone who is close to her. That's not discrimination, that's acting out of grief. Wanda created this world to escape it, and Monica just brought it back in. Might I also add that in episode 8, we see Wanda get aggressive towards Vision when he suggests talking about Pietro. The only difference is that he's not trespassing into Wanda's world of peace.
Like, the way Wanda treated her compared to everyone else was completely unacceptable. Like, she treated Monica like shit while she was just trying to help her.
She treated Monica like an adult. She wasn't condescending to her like she was with Agatha. Plus, those are two different conversations anyways. Wanda just had to say goodbye to her entire family and is now hated by everyone in Westview. If you expected her to be all sunshine and rainbows in her final confrontation with Monica, then I would have to question if you even paid attention to the episode.
Like, I just did not get that whatsoever. But here we had Agatha over here, this mean-ass white woman. She was just being rude as ever to Monica, but it was all... Not Monica. Wanda, but it was always played off for laughs.
I assume here you're talking about when Agnes insulted Wanda's outfit, but I also assume that you forgot the time that Agnes helped Wanda in episode 1 by bringing over supplies to help her cook dinner for Vision's boss, and in episode 2 when she acted as a guide through the town meeting mishaps, and when she offered to watch the twins so Wanda and Vision could rest. She did that twice. Up until the climax of the show, Agnes was nothing but kind to Wanda, while Monica brought up the death of someone very close to her and broke her reality.
It all really just comes down to the writers of the show when it comes to, like, Monica's treatment. But they had Monica acting all... Not Monica, Wanda acting all weird towards Monica, but when it came to Agatha, they, like, restrained her and was acting all calm and whatever, so it still applies.
Monica's not an antagonistic witch that would have reason to fear Wanda and restrain her in order to get reasons. That's just plot.
Monica helped Wanda have her baby. She helped her have birth, and she treated her like she was the scum between her toes. And the worst thing about it is that she did this to her right after she helped her.
I already explained why her actions were justified in the show. Monica brought up the death of someone close to Wanda and then tried to divert the question when Wanda asked how she knew. Blindsided by grief, not discrimination.
Wanda, I understand that she's upset about her brother missing and things like that, but she did not have to react that way to Monica. Like, she could have went about it a completely different way. It's obvious that Monica was just there trying to help her, but she just didn't want to listen. She didn't want to hear it. And what frustrated me the most about this is that Monica showed Wanda nothing but kindness, and she still crapped on her in the end. Like,
I'm sorry for all the pain I caused.
I guess that's crapping on people now?
and also another thing that really irritated me about Monica's character is that she was written as, like, you know, the strong black woman character that is just so tired, so overdone. I'm just really, really sick of it. She literally was putting everybody before her. She literally almost risked her freaking life trying to help Wanda and save her, but Wanda still just didn't want to compromise with her. And it's like, it's frustrating because it's also something that I see in a lot of media when it comes to black women, is that they literally will keep helping and continuing to help people who are treating them so bad. But they just like, you know what? I don't care. I'm still going to show you kindness. I'm still going to show you greatness. I'm still going to be kind to you. But at the end of the day, they don't freaking care. They're still being crapped on. It's tired. I'm tired of seeing it.
That's not being a black woman. That's being a hero. I can name someone who fits the exact description that you just said. It's Spider-Man. Peter Parker gets treated like utter garbage, and yet he still puts on the mask and fights to defend these people. In Spider-Man Homecoming, after Vulture threatens Peter's life multiple times in multiple ways, Peter still becomes the bigger person and saves him from the fire. Captain America was beaten up in an alleyway, but still sacrificed his life to save the people who live there. Hulk was attacked by the military, but still fought on their side when bigger threats emerged. Loki tried to kill Thor several times, but Thor still fought alongside him. Bucky killed Tony's parents, and Tony killed Wanda's parents, but all three of them still fought arm in arm against Thanos. Because that's what heroes do. And none of these people are black women. Monica still tried to help Wanda after everything had happened to her because she truly understood what she was going through and knew that deep down Wanda didn't mean harm. Monica even says that given the power, she would have done exactly what Wanda did. She's not trying to help people because she is a racial stereotype. She's trying to help people because she is a hero.
The Misogynoir of WandaVision
doesn't exist. I mean, honestly, do we really think that Wanda McFrickin' Maximoff is a racist? She fought alongside War Machine and Falcon and jumped in front of Thanos to 1v1 him when he went after Black Panther. Why would she have reason to be discriminatory towards black women when Okoye saved her life in Infinity War? I mean, Black Widow is there too, but she's a woman and her name starts with black, so it counts. It's a comic book character in a movie where aliens time travel. I'm 110% sure the color of your skin is the last thing she's stressing over. In conclusion, WandaVision does not have a problem with its diversity. I think it's a little funny that Harriyanna made a whole video about representation but didn't mention Billy once, which just further solidifies that she doesn't understand the characters. Wanda Maximoff is not a racist, nor is she misogynistic. In fact, I would argue that the only thing belittling Monica's character is this video, as it focuses more on the events that happen as it relates to the color of the character's skin. This video completely ignores the very crucial aspect of Monica and Wanda coming from the same place with the same experiences. It also ignores the moments that they share in the beginning episodes where there is no animosity between them. I believe that throwing that out the window in order to paint a picture that Monica was looked down upon by any character does more harm than Wanda ever could.